Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I am going to be talking about, all about Pisces. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Well, anyway, first thing I'm going to talk about is the personality of Pisces. Well, Pisces is generally these people can be very compassionate, very benevolent, very kind. They're often about self-sacrifice, and this is the kind of person that will often do a lot of things for others, and as far as sacrificing their time, working, and not always getting paid necessarily to do so. They are really often about helping those people that could be less fortunate than others, such as the oppressed, the impoverished, the homeless. Pisces people can also be really compassionate, really kind, always wanting to do for others. They're not people that you really would consider egocentric or self-centered. Pisces can be very sensitive as well. It's a water sign that could be very sensitive to their surroundings. And unfortunately, they could also be very impressionable. Pisces can take on the moods and of others, I think, easier than the other zodiac signs. And Pisces also can have a stronger propensity toward drugs and alcohol as opposed to the other signs as well. It is a water sign and ruled by Neptune, and Neptune, of course, is associated with drugs and chemicals. So this is a sign really that sometimes can be chameleon-like. Pisces may often act differently around different people. Pisces, because maybe this has something to do with their malleable nature. The way I look at Pisces, and a lot of other people and astrologers would agree, is that Pisces is really like an amalgamation of the first 11 zodiac signs. So they can be very multifaceted and many-sided, and sometimes when they're almost nondescript, because they're just like they could almost be like so many different people, because they can really exhibit so many traits almost of the other 11 zodiac signs. And really, sometimes this could be confusing to others. Pisces can often be ambiguous and really can kind of confuse others. Pisces can be somewhat confused themselves, which I think goes back to a lot of that being attributed to the fact that they're really like the combination of the previous 11 zodiac signs. And Pisces being ruled by Neptune, I think you look at it like foggy, that they're really that kind of plays a role in this confusion, and they could be somewhat nebulous as well. And when I see Pisces, that their emotions also, they could nearly be all encompassing. Pisces can be super sensitive, and I think them and Cancer, I would put those two signs as the most sensitive signs of the zodiac. And looking at Pisces as a whole, they could be very idealistic. They often will put others on a pedestal, but unfortunately they may often overlook the transgressions and flaws and shortcomings of other people. They want to see the best in others, and sadly Pisces can be probably more easily deceived than the other zodiac signs. So if you're Pisces, just be careful as far as con men and swindlers. And anyway, well, as far as the appearance goes for Pisces, keep in mind, people, you have to factor in ethnicity. So if there's, for African Americans, a lot of this wouldn't apply. This is a very basic and general physical description of Pisces I'm going to give. So anyway, well, Pisces can be, often between short and middle stature, heavy in build. The face can be roundish or ovalish. Often Pisces can have sloping shoulders. Their eyes can be very dreamy. They can kind of a far away look to them. Pisces also can look a little bit abstracted sometimes. The nose on Pisces sometimes is maybe concave even. The mouth, well, Pisces sometimes can be loose-lipped and have a lip that is protruding. And also the Pisces, the face can be somewhat heavy on Pisces, but the eyes on Pisces, and I see in the women, can be very beautiful. Pisces too, when you look at Pisces, well, what I think is interesting about this sign is that it seems like with Pisces, more so than the other signs, can look differently when they're photographed as opposed to real life. I'm not saying in many instances, but a little more propensity toward this than the other zodiac signs. Maybe this has something to do with this correspondence with the 12th house. And as far as maybe not the 12th house, I should say, with Neptune, maybe with the illusion is what I mean, not the 12th house, but the correspondence with the connection with Neptune, I should say. And also Pisces is associated with photography, and Neptune is, and I think that might have some little something to do with it, but I think a lot of it is attributed to the Neptune influence, and in that illusion that Pisces can sometimes look different in their photographs than they do in actual real life. Pisces could often have an ethereal quality to them as well, and the hair with Pisces can often, I'd say, inclines toward darker hair rather than light, and the complexion on Pisces can be often fair and pale complexion. Well, anyway, as far as money goes with Pisces, well, Pisces is generally not dominated by money, say like a Taurus or Capricorn. The Pisces really, generally speaking, they don't seem to put a lot of emphasis on material possessions or things of a monetary nature, for that matter. The Pisces needs to be careful too, because Pisces memory is not always exceptional, and they have a little more propensity to misplace things that are associated with money, whether it's actual cash or credit cards. They're not always the most organized people. I think that has something to do with it, coupled with their memory is not always superlative. But Pisces can often make money making decisions intuitively. They may do well in stocks and in stock market actually because of this, because of their intuitive prowess. And being able to kind of be visionary and see perhaps what stocks are looking good in the future. Pisces also can, be somewhat vacillating as far as money goes, and really you have sometimes going back and forth and over purchasing this item or that item, because they could be very ambivalent and indecisive. Pisces also needs to be very careful as far as I stated before, as far as, say, swindlers and con men, because they could be duped a little more easily than the other zodiac signs, and really people being deceptive toward them and trying to take advantage of their generally kind and good disposition. And I think a lot of the fact that Pisces is just generally not dominated by money as much as other signs is because a lot of Pisces are more connected with spirituality, things of the higher consciousness. They're not really so much really absorbed with things of a monetary nature, generally speaking. Well, as far as careers go with Pisces, well, Pisces can often do well in careers associated with illusions, such as working as a magician or special effects. And really, when you look at Pisces too, some other careers could be connected with the metaphysical, something connected with spirituality, perhaps the healing professions they also may flourish at. Something connected with water, such as oceanography or working on the docks by water. And also Pisces being ruled by Neptune, anything connected with chemicals such as chemistry or working in the pharmaceutical field can also be things that Pisces could be very adept at. it's really with Pisces too, whatever career they choose, they may often show a lot of self-sacrifice and even maybe put in working and not getting paid for a number of the hours that they do. If Pisces is on salary, a lot of people with Pisces, I think, may work a lot more hours than they're even anticipated as far as the hours they're putting in. So anyway, well, as far as the health of Pisces, well, Pisces is generally not a sign that is really healthy, and their constitution is generally not very robust or strong. Pisces' vitality and their energy level, their stamina, endurance is generally diminished. And with Pisces, the thing about them, as far as the health afflictions, anything connected with the feet, such as club feet, general injuries to feet, fractured feet, and also you look at Pisces too, psychosomatic illnesses can be prominent in Pisces. Something where stress might exacerbate a physical injury with Pisces. Schizophrenia can be another thing that might be a little stronger with Pisces than the other zodiac signs, perhaps with the exception of Gemini maybe. I think Gemini and Pisces would seem to incline towards schizophrenia more likely than the other zodiac signs. And also Pisces has a strong propensity toward drug and alcohol addiction, so that's something else for Pisces to be wary of. Pisces, perhaps attributed to the Jupiter influence, also can have a proclivity to gain weight. Pisces generally, my experience and observations, they seem to be heavier than average in a lot of cases. And it's important for them to get that regular, consistent exercise if they're not doing it, because they seem to have a really propensity to put on pounds, more so than most of the other zodiac signs, perhaps with the exception of, say, maybe Sagittarius, Cancer, Taurus. So anyway, well, as far as love goes for Pisces, well, Pisces can really be somebody that can be very compassionate in love. They could be very idealistic. They often overlook the transgressions of their lover. Sadly, Pisces can also suffer from delusion in connection with love matters. I think Pisces also can be very often fantasize about that prototypical lover, but may not always act upon it. Now, Pisces, they may, as far as the delusion thing, as far as Pisces goes, they may often, maybe they convince themselves that maybe somebody likes them when they don't. Maybe they convince themselves they're in love sometimes when they're not. Pisces about deception, even self-deception. But one thing's for sure with Pisces, that self-sacrifice quality can be very prominent with them, and they could strongly show that in a relationship with somebody. And Pisces, being ambivalent as they are and somewhat confused, they often may go back and forth. If there's two people that they're trying to decide on, forget it, they may go on for a strong period before making that decision who they're going to choose in terms of a sustained relationship. So those are some things to look at as far as Pisces goes, and as far as love with Pisces. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for All About Pisces. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be talking about Aries and love. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.